The rule of thumb is that when you send an email, it only gets opened by 20% of your email list. I probably wouldn't use this often, and maybe only once if you have some like message to get across. I've got 40, it was like 42%, and how I did it. So what makes a good email? There's kind of two types there. When we're going to be coming into, there's value-based and call to action, and we're going to be meeting these two types of content quite often. So value-based is where you position yourself as an authority, saying if the 5 best ways to do X, Y, Z, a strategy. Here you go. These are some testimonials. People are that are saying about my business, and you always have a little call to action at the bottom. But value-based is just you're serving, wetting the whistle a little bit for your target audience and building trust. And call to action is where you're just saying like, look guys, we've got a not a limited time sale or sort of something saying you need to take action like now and get onto the next stage, or this is your time. I've been seeing you opening my emails X, Y, Z. When are you going to take action? And there's some people say, you have to send 5 value-based emails to 2 call to actions, or you have systems around like that. Well, I send 3 weekly emails on top of some automations, and I'll usually try to do 2 value-based to 1 call to actions. But sometimes, it's not something I stick to like Bible. I might do two call to actions. What you do want to steer clear from is always sending call to action, call to action, call to action, call to action, because that puts people off very, very quickly. Because ultimately, you want people to keep engaged with you and stay active, not just be like, oh, here comes Ethan again, trying to peddle me something. And the 2 types of content: value-based, call to action. And so 2 parts when you're looking at an email is you have the subject line, and you also have the pre-header text. And sometimes when you there's loads of focus just placed on how can I have a catchy subject line, but then the pre-header text is like the intro, a little snippet from your email. I've got a few naughty open rates on my emails just from like having a little sort of taking advantage of that. Usually it's just ignored and you see the first thing is hi so and so something. I'll tell you some subject lines that have worked quite well. Sometimes you can put emojis in and they're quite eye-catching, but sometimes it can also bring down. I personally, Sam likes putting emojis and subject lines. It's probably my own personal opinion. I think it looks a bit tacky. But one thing, right, that this has got me a 40% open rate, which if you have an email list of 20,000 people and you're getting a 40% open rate, it's emails, no matter how you've spent 8 hours writing the best perfectly drafted email ever. I wouldn't recommend you spend 8 hours on an email, but it's the best sort of, example I've seen of, do you know Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, where 20% of your people are providing 80% of the results. The rule of thumb is like 20% of when you send an email, it only gets opened by 20% of your email list. And in the beginning, if you've got an email list of 100 people, it's probably going to be like 50-60%. But as it grows, you'll see. So I was just sitting around 26 to 30 at the minute, and that's a subtle brag. That's what I'm getting that off. But I've got 40. It was like 42%, and how I did it, and I recommend this. I probably wouldn't use this often, maybe only once if you have some like message to get across. These next slides, see how you can personalise marketing emails with names, and sometimes if someone sent you their email or if they've got an appointment time, you can have these things called variables where you have first name, date, time, and when in your email software when you send that email out, when you have these variables, first name, phone, email, when you send an email, it automatically populates. So when your client gets an email, then it'll say hi Phil, hi Rob, hi Dave, hi Sandra, and every single time it'll be different. And that's just taking the data that's in your CRM. An email, the subject line I used was first name, last name, and phone. So when they got it, it said like Ethan Burt 07 something, and like it was a case of like if you got that number, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? How have they got my number? And it worked quite effectively. Other times you can just use the name and the title. Or another big one is action required. That can scare them a little bit. So Ethan, action required in like big capitals. Another one is Ethan, Oliver, message from Gemma. That would get me to be like, oh, or Gemma's mentioned you, or so and so's mentioned you, or you just get it. I know this is a little bit of a. It depends what your brand is like and how willing you are to be a little bit less corporate. I've put emails like, do you find me attractive? And then you go in and be like, oh look, do you find working with us useful?